Hey there, Scorpio. Welcome to part 2 for your March bonus reading. This is part 1, and if you haven't watched part 1 yet, it is linked up in the pinned comment down below, so make sure to check out part 1. But Scorpio, we are just going to jump right in here, and we are going to see what is going on for you. With the Six of Cups, you have the Moon card. The Moon card is, and you also have, by the way, you also have the Moon card right here. So the Moon card is about a period of innovation and trying new things. It can represent fears as well. Remember what I was saying about the Six of Cups. The Six of Cups can represent kind of forward movement when you've been stuck, or it can represent progress when you've been stuck trying to move forward on something. So I feel like there's progress. The Moon can say you're not exactly clear, and you do have this Neptune card right here as well. Neptune is also notorious. I always say I'm a Pisces, and I don't even like the Neptune and Pisces energy in general. Because Neptune and Pisces, it's like very murky. It's very, like, we don't know the answers. We don't know exactly what we're supposed to be doing. What we think we are supposed to be doing is we're probably supposed to be doing the opposite, and like all this other stuff, right? There are a lot of twists and turns with Neptune and Pisces. So, I feel that, and really, I think the important thing with Neptune and Pisces is to have like a big vision, have a big plan, have a big idea, and use that as your kind of your North Star, your guiding light, whatever it is. Like maybe you want to having some sort of, it's almost like you're coming up with some sort of motto for your life, or something like you want to help people make a dent in the universe. And it's like, as long as you're aiming towards that big thing, it doesn't matter what you do in between, which, there might be a lot of twists and turns. You might go this direction, you might have to make some changes, but as long as you're kind of like aiming in a certain direction with the Moon card, you will find success. So let's see. With this Moon, the other Moon card, you have the Seven of Wands. Yeah, Seven of Wands is about committing to something. Again, kind of interesting that I just said that, having like a motto. I don't think you have to be that crazy like me, but what I would say is if there's some sort of, if there's some values you can come up with. I've been talking about this a lot because I think it's super important that maybe everybody kind of comes up with some values, things that they value in their life, and it's like that way at least you have a direction. Like maybe you value having love and having a family. It's like as long as you have that as a value and you move in that direction, you're going in the right direction. And I kind of feel like those values could be stabilizing us. Seven of Wands can represent our beliefs. It's a card of conviction, card of knowing that something is going to be successful for you. So I feel like that's important for whatever reason. With the Mars card, you have the Page of Pentacles. Yeah, it's time to get to work. Page of Pentacles is like a new beginning. Personally, I love the Page of Pentacles, but Page of Pentacles is a card of studiousness. It's a card of learning as much as you possibly can. And I do feel learning would be a good idea for you at this time here, Scorpio, learning how to do whatever it is that you want to do. Again, that Mars card says motion. So I feel like learning how to take action on whatever you want would be a good idea. Maybe you want love, learn how to take action on love. If you want business or money, I would do the same thing. With the Building Blocks card, you have the Ten of Swords. Yeah, see, I think this is how you look at something. I always get the same exact story for you, Scorpio. I feel like some of you, for whatever reason, you're like the only sign that gets this too. It's like I feel like some of you maybe look at something as starting over. That couldn't be further from the truth. I feel like you need to realize that, if you're like ending a relationship and starting another one, you're not starting from scratch. You're starting from a place of knowledge. You're starting from a place of wisdom. And I feel that's very important for you. Again, it comes up for you quite a bit. And it's something I think you need to realize. Same thing in business. Like if you're letting go of one business and starting another one, or if you're changing direction in your business, I feel like you need to realize it's like you're not starting from scratch. You're starting from a place of abundance, really. With the Fool, you have the Ace of Pentacles. Love it. So there definitely could be some sort of opportunity coming in for you. The Ace of Pentacles is like a big opportunity. We have to grab onto that opportunity. Obviously, the Fool card, you have to take the leap of faith to be successful. But it's like the gift from the universe that you're receiving. I really feel you're receiving some sort of gift from the universe, which we talked about in the first reading. The gift could be forward progress or something you've been looking for. As I say to everyone with the Ace of Pentacles, the Ace of Pentacles represents something you really have to nurture. There's a garden in the front of the Ace of Pentacles there. There's this garden growing. And, gardens in the tarot represent something that we really have to take care of, something we really have to nurture into existence. With the box card that says you will receive a gift, you have the death card, which is your card. This is you coming up in a strong position, actually. It's you coming up in a position of power and strength. So I feel it's just basically the reading is saying you are receiving the gift here, Scorpio. With the solar calm card, it says clarify on it. I'm just going to jump to this camera right away because you have the Page of Cups. The Page of Cups is a card of like dreaming or kind of focusing on your dreams. The Page of Cups, normally he has that cup out, and in the cup there's like a fish. I always say that fish could be his imagination. It might not be real, that fish that exists in that cup. He needs to grab onto that fish. And again, I feel like some of you, I would say the most important thing you could be doing right now for all of you is to clarify your vision. What do you want your life to look like in the future? How you get there doesn't matter. I feel like the end, I think you need to be focusing, I know that you need to be focusing on the end, the end result, the end product. And I would say dream big with Neptune and Pisces. I always tell people, with Neptune and Pisces, like take your dream, multiply it by 1,000. Does that mean you're going to get the 1,000x? No, probably not. But if you get 100 times better than what you want, that's pretty damn good still, right? So, I always say, Les Brown, one of my favorite people of all time, says it's better to aim high and miss than it is to aim low and hit. So I feel like it's time for you to aim high with this. With the Between Two Worlds card, or the Between Worlds, you have the Queen of Swords. Yeah, finally see, it's like light at the end of the tunnel energy here. Again, this Between Worlds card, the flamingo is kind of like going towards the color side of things. And with the Queen of Swords, she kind of represents finally seeing things clearly. Normally on a traditional Queen of Swords, she only has clouds like halfway up her body. It kind of represents the fact that she finally sees things clearly. She finally understands what direction she needs to go in her life. And, she's normally going this way. She's normally aiming towards the future. So I feel like you're very future focused at this time. With the Hermit, here you go. You have the Six of Swords, moving on to calmer shores. Definitely improvements coming in for you. These people are still in choppy waters. I feel like everyone, as the entire collective, is basically Six of Swords energy right now. I feel like a lot of us are still kind of in choppy waters. It's like we're, kind of getting to the other side, but we've had to make a lot of sacrifices. The whole point of the Six of Swords is that those people, this woman and her child, it represents baggage because they have left behind everything, their entire life. They've left it behind them so that they can move forward to the other side and start over. So it's kind of like they're counting on things being better on the other side, right? Because if they're not, they sacrificed everything. But they're being guided. There is a guide in the back of the boat. So it's like they're being guided. This is coming up in the area of the unexpected as well. So I wouldn't really be surprised if some of you, I wouldn't say you're making a sacrifice, but I definitely am getting an energy of you kind of like making the decision to move forward. And this could be a past relationship that you're letting go of, by the way. That's what I feel intuitively. It could be anything, general reading. With the Ring and the March card, you have the Seven of Cups, another card of your imagination. Seven of Cups is a card of being spoiled for choice, needing to make a decision, needing to realize that you have a lot of options in your life. So, that's what I would say here. This whole entire reading is kind of like just saying, it's time for you to dream big. I feel like it is time for you to, take everything you want and dream big and just go for it. Seven of Cups does say, yeah, of course, there are always things that could happen. In life, there are always things that could, prevent you from moving forward or whatever. But I feel like you need to move towards what makes you happy. Basically, you need to move towards the sun with the Sun card. With the Sun card, you have the Queen of Pentacles. Queen of Pentacles really says, you have all the resources necessary to be successful. Queen of Pentacles is also a card of your focus. Normally, she is very focused on the pentacle that she is holding in her hand on the Queen of Pentacles. There's also like a rabbit that's jumping by her on a traditional Queen of Pentacles. And I always say, the rabbit can represent abundance, fleetness. Rabbits breed very quickly, so it can represent a lot of abundance. But it can also represent fears. She's focusing on the pentacle. She's focusing on what she does have. She's not worrying about her fears, her anxieties, and all those other things. It's coming up with the Sun. Sun, to me, in the tarot, I realize this isn't a tarot card, but to me, the Sun in the tarot represents your focus, like what you're focusing on. So it's going to be very important that you focus on like what you want, like I said earlier. With the Chaos and Conflict card, you have the Hangman. I feel like not making a move is going to be the thing that creates chaos and conflict in your life. The Hangman is like, just hanging there. not making any moves, right? Here, Scorpio. So, the Hangman kind of says, it is another card of sacrifice, by the way. He has sacrificed the use of his arms and his legs, but it's like his head is glowing. So it's like if he doesn't take action, he's going to be stuck. So I feel like this is saying, don't stay stuck. There's something about like needing to speak up here as well. I don't really feel it's like you speaking up in a situation. I feel like it's more about you taking action. Maybe everyone around you at work is just kind of zombie mode, and you maybe there's an opportunity for you to step up. I kind of get that bravery type of energy here with the Hangman and that chaos and conflict card. So if there are opportunities for you to step up, I would take them because I feel like they're going to lead to a lot of success. With the Two of Wands, you have the Seven of Pentacles. This is messages from your guides. Seven of Pentacles really says it's time to move on from the past because he's looking at those pentacles and he's wondering, is the juice worth the squeeze? Is it worth it for me to keep putting my energy into the Seven Pentacles that I've grown, or should I be moving on to something else? That's the question he's asking. For a lot of you, I feel it's time to move on. I feel, what I would say is the hardest thing for you water signs right now is the fact that I feel the universe is encouraging water signs to do something harder, So it's like if you're trying to grow a business, I feel like you're being guided towards something that is harder. But it's really because the universe wants you to grow. Same thing in love as well. It's like maybe you always date a certain type of person. I feel like the universe is pushing water signs in particular towards a different type of person, but it's probably a person that requires growth, would require you to become more abundant. I'm not referring to money here either. I'm just referring to your mentality, right? How you think. There could be some sort of challenge. And I'm not talking about a bad challenge. I'm talking about a good challenge, a growth challenge, basically. So, you might find yourself looking at all the people you've been dating as turkeys. Again, you have this turkey card right here, which says someone is behaving stupidly. But really, I feel like you could just be looking at the type of person you normally date as not so great. And again, this is not a criticism of those people. I feel like it's just kind of like the energy, and you're maybe looking for something different now. With the turkey, you have the moon card. Again, a lot of moon energy in your reading in general. You have the moon twice, and you also have that tea leaf card called the moon, which is different, but, kind of like you have the moon 3 times. Could be a Pisces you're dealing with for some of you, but really, I feel like the moon is saying you're in this period of exploration. It's like, imagine if you have a certain type of person that you date and love, and now you're dating a new type of person. It's like you have to learn. I think part of the reason we pick the same type of person is because it's easy, right? If you're always picking a person who is like, your type, maybe they have a certain type of trauma, maybe they're easy to get with. I think we all do this, right? If I look back on my past relationships, they're all basically exactly the same. Not criticizing him, but if I look at my brother's relationships, right, they're all pretty much basically the same. And it's like, why is that? It's probably because we pick a type of person because we think they're easy for us to get or whatever to be with, right? And if we try to get with a new type of person, we're like afraid to approach them, or we're afraid to talk to them, or they kind of point something out in us that needs fixing or correcting. And so it's like we have to learn. The moon is learning, basically. The moon does not say stop. The moon says learn. There's a path that ends at some mountains in the background here, Scorpio. So the moon says go on the adventure. Where do you get the best views? At the top of the mountains, Scorpio. So I would encourage you to move towards situations that maybe make you a little bit uncomfortable. We're not talking about in a bad way here. We're talking about in a good way. Uncomfortable because they require growth. Uncomfortable because you have to look for some answers, that type of deal. With the Neptune card, you have the 4 of Swords. Yeah, when in doubt, sleep. I don't know. Those are the words that are popping into my head, Scorpio. I would just take a rest if you need it. And with the Breathe card, you have the Star. Every single sign so far has had the Star. The Star is about shining your inner light. It is a card of hope and renewal and faith. Definitely would be a good time for resting, relaxing, all that other stuff. 4 Swords, Breathe, Star. So take care of yourself with this energy. But really, I feel like this is saying dream bigger than you ever have in your life, because you're going to accomplish something great. But Scorpio, this is a really good reading. I love it. So thank you for being here, Scorpio. Really appreciate it. Make sure to watch your sun, moon, rising if you haven't already for a full picture of what's going on for you at this time. But thank you, and definitely enjoy your month.